Have you ever just looked around and wondered why some people seem to get rich almost effortlessly, while so many others work their tails off and just can't seem to get ahead? Well, today we're diving into a pretty provocative idea that there are hidden rules to building wealth, and most of us, well, we're playing the wrong game entirely.
It all really boils down to this one super frustrating question, right? Why is it that so many smart, capable, hardworking people are stuck spinning their wheels financially while others just seem to cruise towards wealth? It's a question that honestly makes you second-guess everything you've ever been taught about money.
And according to the idea we're exploring, the answer has nothing to do with how hard you work or how smart you are. Nope. It's about realizing that you might be playing a completely different game than the people who are winning. The path to wealth, from this point of view, isn't about your effort. It's about the rule book you're using.
Okay, now here's where it gets really intense. The argument isn't just that you're making a few mistakes here and there. It's that the conventional wisdom, all the advice you hear from pretty much everyone, is a deliberate lie. A lie designed to keep you from ever figuring out how wealth actually works.
So, if we've all been lied to, what exactly are these lies? Well, this concept breaks it down into 3 specific false paths. These are the paths most of us are told to follow our entire lives. Let's take a look at what they are.
So here they are: the salary trap, the savings illusion, and the meritocracy myth. And the claim here is that these aren't just, bad financial habits. They're the very foundation of a system that's designed to keep most people running on a hamster wheel forever.
First up, you've got the salary trap. This is the classic belief that a good, steady job is your ticket to wealth. But think about it for a second. You're trading your time, which is the one thing you can never get more of, for money. Your income is always capped by the number of hours you can work. You're basically a gear in someone else's machine.
Next on the list is the savings illusion. We're all taught to be responsible, right? Put money away for a rainy day. But from this perspective, saving cash is actually a losing game. While your hard-earned savings are just sitting there, getting eaten alive by inflation, the wealthy are putting their money into assets, things like businesses, real estate, that are actually growing in value. So they're getting richer, while savers are just trying to tread water.
And finally, we have what's called the most powerful deception of them all, the meritocracy myth. This is the idea that the system is fundamentally fair, that if you just put your head down, work hard, and play by the rules, you'll get ahead. And this is seen as the most important lie, because as long as you believe it, you'll never stop to question the rules of the game itself.
Okay, so if those are the false games that keep people stuck, what are the real games? The argument is that the wealthy, the elite, they're playing by a totally different set of rules. Let's see what that looks like.
So the first huge shift is moving from labor to ownership. Instead of selling your time for a wage, the real game is about owning things, assets that make money for you whether you're working or not. This completely disconnects your income from your time, which means your earning potential is, well, basically unlimited. The second big switch is from saving to leverage. Now, for most of us, this one feels completely backwards. We're taught that debt is bad, right? Avoid it at all costs. But the wealthy see debt as a tool, a powerful one. They borrow money to buy assets that grow way faster than the interest they're paying on the loan. It's the difference between slow, steady walking and strapping yourself to a rocket.
At the heart of leverage is a simple concept, often called OPM, or other people's money. It just means using capital from banks or investors to buy up assets you couldn't afford on your own. I mean, this is how huge real estate empires and businesses get built, not with a person's life savings, but by using strategic debt.
And the third game, this is probably the most controversial one. It's the shift from playing fair to rigging the system. Now, to be clear, this doesn't necessarily mean doing something illegal. It means having a deep, fundamental understanding that the rules, tax laws, financial regulations were largely written by the wealthy for the wealthy, and then using those exact rules to your maximum advantage.
So this all raises a pretty big question. Why? Why do these two completely different sets of rules even exist? The argument we're exploring is that it's not some random accident. It's a deliberate system of control.
And to really get this, you have to look at history. Pretty much throughout all of human history, a tiny fraction of the population has controlled almost all of the wealth. This isn't a new thing. The argument is that this is the norm, and the system is actually built to keep it that way.
So how has that control changed over time? Well, back in feudal times, it was simple. You owned the land, you owned the people, easy. But then the industrial age came along, and the elite needed a new story to get people to happily work in factories for wages. And today, that story is pushed through things like hustle culture and media, constantly reinforcing these false games.
And that leads to the real gut punch of this whole idea. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly the way it was designed to. It depends on the vast majority of people playing the games of labor and saving so that the value they create can be captured by the very few who are playing the games of ownership and leverage.
So let's just lay it all out, side by side, one last time. The false game, you trade your time for money, you save what you can, and you play by the rules you're given. The real game, you own productive assets, you leverage other people's money, and you deeply understand the rules to your own benefit. It's like they're two completely different universes.
So at the end of the day, this whole perspective isn't really about judging what's right or what's wrong. It's simply about laying out the game board and presenting you with a choice.
And that's the question we'll leave you with. If it really is true that there are two separate rulebooks for building wealth, which one have you been using? And maybe more importantly, which one are you going to choose to play with from now on?